1978, China enters a new era under the leadership of Deng Xiaoping, a veteran revolutionary now in his 70s. Unlike his predecessor Mao Zedong, whose rule had been marked by ideological campaigns and upheaval, Deng presents himself as practical and focused on results. He firmly believes that the Communist Party must remain at the center of China's future. Yet he also recognizes that the country cannot move forward without profound change. Supporting Deng are two key reformers, Hu Yaobang and Zhao Ziyang, trusted allies who help shape the direction of the nation. Together, they promote a bold vision known as the Four Modernizations, aimed at transforming agriculture, industry, national defense, and science and technology. Their goal is clear: to strengthen China and improve the lives of its people. At the same time, Deng's calls for greater openness encourage some citizens to express long-suppressed frustrations. In Beijing, activists begin posting political messages on a public wall along Xidan Street. This place becomes known as the Democracy Wall. Many posters criticize past policies and call for reform. Deng allows a degree of this criticism, believing that limited expression can help correct past mistakes. One activist, Wei Jingsheng, goes further than most. In a public essay, he argues that democracy itself is essential for for true modernization. By openly attaching his name to the message, he challenges the boundaries of acceptable political discussion. The government responds by arresting him and others who advocate political change. It becomes clear that while economic reform may be encouraged, political power will remain firmly in the hands of the Communist Party. To reinforce this position, Deng introduces a set of guiding principles. These affirm the leadership of the Communist Party, adherence to socialism, and the continuation of Marxist ideology. The message is unmistakable. Economic reform will not be accompanied by political pluralism. Despite these limits, Deng moves forward with sweeping economic reforms. He seeks to reconnect China with the global economy and improve relations with other nations. During a historic visit to the United States, Deng demonstrates his willingness to engage with foreign partners. His practical and approachable demeanor helps strengthen diplomatic ties. At the heart of Deng's strategy is a new economic approach, later described as socialism with Chinese characteristics. While the state maintains overall control, elements of market economics are gradually introduced. Businesses are given greater independence, and private enterprise is cautiously encouraged. Price controls are relaxed, and decision-making is decentralized. Special economic zones play a central role in this transformation. These coastal regions offer foreign investors favorable conditions, including lower taxes and fewer restrictions. Cities like Shenzhen and Xiamen become laboratories for economic experimentation. Foreign companies bring capital, technology, and expertise. Factories open and employment opportunities increase rapidly. In rural areas, major changes also take place. Collective farming is gradually replaced with household-based agriculture. Farmers gain greater control over their land and production. Agricultural output rises sharply, and food shortages begin to decline. Living conditions improve for millions of rural families. Educational institutions also recover after years of disruption. Universities reopen, and entrance examinations are restored. Students and professionals who had been sent to rural areas during earlier political campaigns are allowed to return to urban life. Scientific research and academic activity begin to flourish once again. Meanwhile, China continues to assert itself as a regional power. Relations with neighboring Vietnam deteriorate, especially after Vietnam aligns more closely with the Soviet Union. When Vietnamese forces intervene in Cambodia, China responds with military action. Although the conflict is limited, it exposes weaknesses in China's military and prompts modernization efforts. Despite this conflict, China's relationships with Western nations continue to improve. Diplomatic exchanges increase, and foreign leaders visit Beijing. China presents itself as a rising global power, open to cooperation and economic partnership. At home, however, the Communist Party remains firmly in control. Rapid population growth becomes a major concern. To address this, the government introduces strict family planning measures, including the one-child policy. These rules aim to limit population growth, but also lead to significant social consequences, including demographic imbalances. Women's roles in society continue to evolve. Legal reforms improve women's rights in marriage and employment. More women join the workforce, especially in cities. Yet inequalities persist, particularly in leadership and rural areas. Economic reform raises hopes for political reform as well. Hu Yaobang, a senior leader known for his openness, becomes a symbol of these hopes. He supports greater transparency and challenges entrenched privilege within the party. His popularity grows, especially among students and intellectuals. In the mid-1980s, student demonstrations call for increased freedom and reform. When Hu refuses to suppress the protests harshly, he is removed from his position. His resignation disappoints many who had seen him as a champion of change. His death in 1989 sparks widespread public mourning. Thousands gather in Beijing, and mourning soon turns into protest. Students and citizens demand political reform, transparency, and accountability. Demonstrations grow larger, filling Tiananmen Square. The government initially hesitates, but eventually declares martial law. Military forces are ordered to restore control. In early June, troops move into the city. Violence follows, resulting in many casualties. Images of the confrontation spread around the world, becoming powerful symbols of resistance and repression. The government defends its actions, arguing that stability must be preserved. Reform-minded leaders are removed, and political control is tightened. International criticism increases, and China faces diplomatic and economic consequences. Despite this setback, economic reform resumes in the early 1990s. Deng, though elderly, reasserts his influence and calls for renewed commitment to modernization. Market reforms accelerate, and economic growth increases dramatically. Private businesses expand, foreign investment rises, and millions of people are lifted out of poverty. Cities grow rapidly, and China becomes a major center of global manufacturing. Living standards improve significantly for many citizens. However, challenges remain. economic inequality increases, and environmental problems worsen. Rapid urbanization creates new social pressures. The government maintains strict political control while encouraging economic development. Deng Xiaoping dies in 1997, leaving behind a transformed nation. His policies set China on a path of rapid growth and global influence. His successors continue his economic reforms while preserving the authority of the Communist Party. China's global role continues to expand. The return of Hong Kong marks a symbolic moment in restoring national sovereignty. Economic growth accelerates further after China joins the World Trade Organization. Chinese exports increase, and the country becomes a central player in the global economy. By the early 21st century, China emerges as one of the world's leading powers. Its economy grows,